believe when you work the word of God, it will work for you. My name is Brittany. I am your announcer for this evening. Please make sure that you're following MDL Ministries on all social media platforms on Facebook Live, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, and MDLministries.org. If you are in need of prayer, we want you to know that Dr. Marshall is here for you, and prayer does change things. Please call into the prayer line Monday through Friday at 641-715-3287. I'm sorry. And the code to get in is 273861#. Well, let's go ahead and give a warm and amazing welcome to the wonderful and amazing Dr. Marshall.
Well, we want to certainly thank Brittany for that beautiful introduction. And I am Dr. Marshall, and you are here with the word that works. I tell you, we have been learning some marvelous things on Friday evenings throughout this year. It has been amazing because we have learned how to do what makes sense out of our money. Friday nights have been dedicated to money sense, where we have this person I know, this male that I know like none other, who knows about finances. He is a senior financial analyst at his company that he works for in Houston. He is one of the most brilliant young men that I know. And I want to tell you that if you have been scrapping with your money, you don't know how to put it in order, you don't know what to do with it, or you have not benefited from what you've been doing with it, you want to tune into these shows. Amen. And so I want to help you to help welcome Mr. Brian Gilbert. Brian, how you doing this evening? Can't hear you.
I said I'm doing extraordinarily well, Dr. Lee. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. We're so glad to have you, Brian. And Brian, you know what I was thinking today as I was preparing for our show tonight? You've been with me for a while.
Yes, this is, I believe, the 20th episode.
Yes, but you've been with me before this episode, and many people don't know that. All right, we've come a long way. We've been in the trenches, and it's been just you and I at times. And you have gotten off from work totally fatigued, totally tired, and still came to the studio and helped out and things of that nature. And the reason I mention that, Brian, because people don't understand. Sometimes they just see what's produced, at the end results, but they don't know that you used to work behind the scene. Now you're on the screen and you're bringing us information. And I want to stop and publicly thank you for all your hard work, because there are many times when I wanted to panic and you used to say it's going to be all right. And so I want to say thank you so very much for hanging in there with me and helping to make MDL Ministries reach the four corners of the earth. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you. And Brian, tonight, you're welcome. You're welcome. Tonight, you're going to get us ready. The one thing I've always liked about you, you didn't wait till it got to you. You always prepared in advance, right? Always prepared in advance. And while other people are looking to eat turkey and they're going to do greens and, fried corn and all that good stuff and open presents, you have already been preparing for your clients, for your tax clients. Amen. And you're preparing to teach us how to be prepared for 2020's tax filing. So, Brian, I'm going to turn Money Sense over to you now, and you just tell us what you need to tell us to prepare us to be wise in this season.
All right, you'll want to pull up the first slide. And what we're going to focus on tonight is really kind of getting you prepared for the 2021 tax season. Some things have obviously changed. We have an outgoing president. We have a new president coming in, so you can expect more changes on the 2021 tax season and further on. But there are some changes that are happening going into this tax year that people may or may not be aware of. So first of all, there are steps that you can take to get a jump start on preparing your 2020 taxes. And the very first thing that any tax preparer or anyone who's preparing taxes needs to get ready for is just gathering all of your documents. Have your documents in order, especially when it relates to your income. So including your tax records, any W-2s from wages from which you're an employee, any 1099s from wages in which you were an independent contractor, any records of anything from a gig income. A lot of people did things like DoorDash, Uber Eats, things of that nature. These companies may or may not send you a timely 1099, but if you log into your driver portal or whatever they have for you, they do have documents called wage documents, and they'll tell you how much they paid you. That can be a proxy for a formally sent 1099. Gather all those documents together. Also, if you do happen to be involved in purchasing or holding any cryptocurrencies and you have made withdrawals and made money off of that, do understand that anyone that you bought those cryptocurrencies from will be reporting your earnings to the IRS. So it is highly advisable that you record those things, the gains and or losses from your purchase of cryptocurrencies, to the IRS as earned income for the year. It is being reported. The last thing is, if you received a notice 1444, this is a letter that would have been sent to you by the IRS if you received an economic stimulus payment in either 2018 or 2019. You have to include that with your taxes, or if you're filing electronically, it will ask you if you received that form and just click yes. They do know already, they just want to confirm. And there's a reason for that we'll talk about later in the presentation. You want to view any account information you have with these electronic houses that file taxes, whether that be Free Tax USA or Intuit Online or TurboTax Online or Jackson Hewitt. Go and view your last year taxes. You will need numbers off of that in order to file your current year, including your adjusted gross income. And lastly, notify the IRS if there's any changes. If you've changed your address, make sure that you notify the IRS concerning the change of address, because they're going to be really concentrating on making sure that the proper people receive tax returns this year. They did have issues with that last year where they sent things to the wrong address. Someone else cashed a check, and it makes it very difficult for them to validate if there's any fraud that occurs and get you your hard-earned money back in your pocket again. So let's go to the second slide. If you have ever been a victim of identity theft, or if you requested, the IRS will assign you an individual tax identification number, an I-10. It's a unique identifier aside from your Social Security number that identifies you as the proper taxpayer that's actually filing your return. So do understand that you want to file your tax return before that I-10 expires. And if you have any question of whether or not you have one and it has expired or not, go ahead and just file for a renewal. The IRS will tell you whether or not the one you have is valid, or they will assign you a new number. In addition to that, make sure you've withheld enough tax. There were changes made by the Congress in 2018 to the tax code. And if you notice, they redid the W-4. So essentially the W-4 now is a almost full-page document, unlike the half-page document we used to have. And essentially you're almost filing your taxes before you file your taxes with this new W-4, because you're having to declare what your estimated tax liability will be on your W-4, in addition to how many withholdings that you're going to be taking for the year. So just until we get a more stable tax code, I know most people don't like doing this, but I would recommend that you say 0 on your withholdings. Let them take out the maximum amount of taxes, because it's easier for you to recoup any monies that you're going to get back. And also make sure you cover any possible tax liability that you might have.
All righty. Well, Brian, you are giving us some real good information. We understand that at this time that we must be really cautious and be intentional and not be. We can't take anything for granted this year with the changing of the guards, but with the things that have already been put in place before the new guards even get there, we understand that we are going to be accountable to those laws and to those different policies. Brian, I heard you say, and I just want to reiterate, because somebody might have joined us late. You said that we need to gather all of our documents. A lot of times people don't do that. but we needed to, you said a W-2, a 1099, the 1099s. If we did the gig job with the DoorDash or something like that, okay, Uber, we need to take care of that, right? We
Mhm.
need to look for the wage doc where they pay us. In other words, look into your back
Right.
office and see what they have there, and don't omit it because they don't send you a 1099, because it will catch
Correct.
up with us. Uncle Sam does want his money and he knows how to get it. And so we want to make sure we do that. And then you said that cryptocurrency. Okay, for those, I mean, somebody asked what's cryptocurrency. Well, we know that doesn't apply to them, but what is cryptocurrency?
So, if you haven't noticed for the last 15 or 16 years, we've largely moved into being a cashless society. So, cryptocurrency is basically a different form of currency, just like dollars or Japanese yen or Great British pounds. They're digital currencies that are benchmarked against the US dollar. And, they tend to be worth quite a bit of money. The reason why they're paying attention to cryptocurrencies is because it's being used by people who want to money launder. So they want to make sure that people are properly recording their holdings in these cryptocurrencies. So when you convert the cryptocurrencies back to cash, and the amount that each cryptocurrency increases in value, you're of course getting back more money than what you invested. And the IRS is saying that that is earned income, the gain or loss on your investment. So you're going to be taxed on that difference. So just to give you an
Okay.
indication, Bitcoin, which is the second largest market cap cryptocurrency, was trading at about 17,600 per coin about a week and a half ago, and is now at an all-time high, just over $22,000 per coin. So it's a nice way to make a little money if you know what you're doing in
Nice
terms of
way.
investing it.
Nice way. And knowing you, you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Brian, this is great information. It is great information because, and people
Thank
need to
you.
be reminded of that, because with COVID coming in, we understand that, oh my God, it's easy to forget. It's easy to overlook. It's easy to get caught up in the, what we've lost, basically, instead of moving forward. So I'm so glad that you're bringing this information to us. Look, if you haven't watched our Friday night shows, please go back and watch it. Mr. Gilbert comes on Fridays, and he gives us great money information about managing your money. He's talked about monitoring your earnings, insurance, savings. He's talked about putting away emergency monies, your investment, step by
Mhm.
step, what's available to you, which investments are the best investments, the long-term ones versus the short-term one. He's talked about stock. He's talked about mutual funds. He's talked about 401ks. He's talked about so many various things that has to do with money. He talked about starting up your business, amen, and how to start it up properly, building on a solid foundation so that you don't have to worry about it falling, right, and or failing, and make sure you're surveying, make sure your name is right, that secure your name. Don't just assume because you do a DBA your name is out there and that's yours. It's not yours. If somebody goes and they do a S corp or a C corp or LLC or something of that nature. So he talked
Correct.
about all various levels of business. And I just want to tell you that if you want to be real about what you're doing, and you want to be on a solid foundation, especially if you're in business, we want to make sure that you go back and look at it. Well, our time has come now where we take a break and we hear from Miss Brittany with our announcements. So Mr. Gilbert will be right back. We'll be back in a few minutes.
I hope that you all are enjoying tonight's show. We have some services that are available for you. James Chestnut and Associates. If the Lord has given you a vision and you're needing assistance with it coming to pass, James Chestnut and Associates is the place for you. They have been assisting churches for the past 30 years with their organizational matters, and they offer services ranging from 501c3 assistance, financial reporting, payroll and bookkeeping, and anything that will meet your business needs. If you are interested in them, please feel free to give them a call at 281-441-4431, or you can send them an email at support@jameschestnut.com. And if you mention that MDL Ministries refers you, you will receive a 10% discount. Never Too Busy Cleaning Specialist. If you're in the San Antonio area and you're looking for cleaning services at its best, Never Too Busy is the place for you. They offer services ranging from COVID-19 sanitation, power washing, organizing, residential and commercial services. Please feel free to give them a call at 979-446-1319, or you can email them at ntbcs@yahoo.com. And then Faith Over Fear Transition Center. So it's basically a faith-based ministry that is looking for services in the homeless community to service the homeless community in the Houston area. I'm sorry. We fed last month 100 people, and we're looking to feed 100 people tomorrow. We have an outreach that is coming up tomorrow at 9 a.m. We are looking for blankets, gloves, hats, t-shirts, socks. We're feeding them spaghetti and just making sure that they're able to have someone think of them in this season. And so if you would like more information regarding the outreach, please you can either go to the www.faithoverfeartcinc.org for more information. And if you don't mention that MDL Ministries referred you for all of these services, you will receive a 10% discount for James Chestnut and Associates, but you want to make sure that you mention that MDL Ministries refers you for all the other services as well. We're going to go ahead and turn it back over to Dr. Marshall.
Truly, we thank Brittany for those announcements, and we want you to know that we do have services and we are here to help you. I want to reiterate Brittany's ministry, Faith of Fear, is going to be doing a mighty outreach in Houston, Texas. If you live in the greater Houston, Texas area, please call her, email her, whatever you need to do to see how you can bring the light of Christ into the lives of those who so much need to know that he cares in this hour. If you're in the San Antonio area, we want to invite you to call me. We will be out tomorrow and we will be handing out gifts and food and clothing and blankets and et cetera, et cetera. We can't be God-given. Whatever we sow, God has promised to give back to us. And so we can't be afraid to give to the lives. The truth about the matter, a lot of people, lives of others, and the truth about the matter, a lot of people who used to give are now in need and they need to receive, and we can show them and help them to know that what they have given is not in vain, because when they were there to care for somebody else, now that they have a need, we are there to care for them. We're going to go back to Mr. Brian Gilbert. We have him with us tonight. He is a senior analyst, a financial analyst. He is talking about money sense, and look, honey, Brian can tell y'all how to make sense out of every dollar, dime you got, all right? And he is a young man and doing great things. And at the end of the year, he might have a big surprise for us, because he has set some goals. He has stuck to those goals, and he endeavors to help others to meet their own financial independence goals. Okay. So Brian, you told us in the beginning about some things, and we're doing taxes tonight. So is there anything else you have to add to that tonight?
There are a few things. So there are 3 new things specifically that you need to understand about your 2021 taxes. The first is the addition of the recovery rebate credit. So if you were supposed to receive an economic stimulus payment and for some reason in the round in 2018 and 2019 you were not eligible for one reason or another, they have now changed those rules. So you may be able to claim a recovery rebate credit if you did not receive all of the $1,200 when you were first paid it, or any of it at all. So if you didn't receive an economic impact payment at all, or you received less than $1,200, then if you're single, or less than $2,400 if you're married filing jointly, you can claim the recovery rebate credit this year and get the difference between what you were paid or not paid and $1,200 if you're single, or $2,400 if you're married filing jointly. If you're married filing single, you just get $1,200. Now, in addition to that, they've added on another little caveat. For every qualifying child, in other words, for every child that is less than 17 years of age, that you can prove residency and for which you provide at least 51% of their care, they will also give you a refundable credit of $500 per child. This is in addition to the earned income credit, in addition to the additional child credit, completely separate. Therefore, if you're married filing jointly and you have 4 qualifying children, you would get $2,400 for the married filing jointly, the husband and wife, $500 for each one of the 4 children, so you could get up to $4,400 in that refundable credit if you did not receive an economic impact payment in either 2018 or 2019. Another thing to watch out for is a little nasty surprise, and that is refund interest payments. Anyone who received payments in 2018 or 2019 knows that the IRS had a heck of a problem getting people's returns on time. So when you got your return, you may not have noticed your return would have been larger or slightly larger than what you filed for. And that's because the IRS paid people interest payments and didn't bother to tell them that. The problem is that by law, when you receive more than $10 worth of interest for the IRS, that is considered taxable. So the first $10 of interest they give you is free. After that, it's taxable as ordinary income. So you'll want to evaluate what you have. Now, theoretically, the IRS should have already sent you what's called a 1099 INT, an interest payment statement coming from the Department of Treasury. It will indicate to you how much in interest you may or not have received when you received your refund, if to the extent that you got one, either 2018 or 2019. You will need that document because they'll be looking for it. Please understand, and the reason why I'm harping on income is that the penalty for not declaring all your income is ordinary tax bracket. So they assume the highest tax bracket, which is 32%, plus they hit you with a 10% penalty, and then they charge you interest every day on that amount. So unless you have an ombudsman and are a very, very highly skilled tax preparer or a lawyer, it's going to be really difficult for you to dig your way out of them assessing something against your tax records. Now, the last part of this is refund timing. And this is for all the people who have children or claim the earned income credit and are used to getting a return fairly large very quickly. There was a law passed by Congress in 2017 that made it illegal for the Internal Revenue Service to give any portion of a refund to any U.S. taxpayer so long as they filed for either the earned income credit or the child tax credit. They are now enforcing that for the first time in the 2020 tax year. So if you are used to filing your taxes early and getting that massive return really quick, either through rapid refund and or getting your return from the IRS electronically very quickly, you should not count on that from this year on. They will not allow you to do that. If you claim the earned income credit and or the additional child tax credit in any year from 2020 from here into perpetuity, you cannot by law receive your return until after February the 15th of every year. So you need to plan for that. There are a lot of people who live basically for the end of the year when they get their tax return. They spend it all as soon as they get it and they want to wild out. That is not an option for you anymore. So just drives home what we've been talking about for almost 20 weeks now. Get your affairs in order. Start being more financially literate so that you're not highly dependent on this big windfall that's basically your money to begin with when you file your taxes. And that's all I have for tonight. It's really simple and to the point. Certainly make sure that you have all of your income-related records today. The IRS will be looking at that very, very, very carefully. You got to remember, most of their people have been furloughed, so they're looking to collect revenue. So if they can assess any type of penalty whatsoever, they're going to do it because they need to collect money. That's what the IRS does. So certainly be prepared. You need your W-2 if you're an employee. You need your 1099 if you're a contractor. You need any wage statements if you worked for some type of gig. Yes, even you barbers and people who like to work for cash, sometimes they have a way of tracking that because they can pull your bank records. So if you're making declarations or you're taking any type of government funds in terms of the PPP or the EDIL program, you had to declare what all your sources of income were. You had to declare how much money you had in your bank and where that money comes from. They have that on record. So don't forget that you've done that.
All right, Brian, in our last few minutes, I just have a couple of questions. Will the standard deductibles change this year? Or
And
will
the
they be the
answer to
same as
that
last year?
is no. The laws were changed to where they doubled the standard deduction in 2018. It remains $12,000 per person, or $24,000 for a married filing jointly couple.
Okay, and those persons who, because of COVID, either had to work at home or have had to work at home rather than go
Mhm.
into the building, will that affect their taxes?
It could affect your taxes because if you had to work for home as a condition of your job, you can now have a stronger case to claim the space in which you worked and an adjacent bathroom as being a home office, which is an extra set of deductions that people may or may not had access to itemize when they worked in an office setting. So any specialized equipment that you yourself had to purchase that you were not reimbursed with your company for, whether that be a computer, a cell phone, things of those natures, those things are tax deductible. The meals that you bought for yourself while you were at work, now tax deductible. The interest on any credit cards you use for work-related expenses, tax deductible.
Okay, and then two more questions real quick. One
Mhm.
is COVID has caused a lot of people to have a lot of medical bills. Oh my God, medical bills that they probably are not going to be able, either didn't pay or they really are looking for having some money back on that. And as well as the major disasters with the floods and the fires, people lost a lot of things. Are there any changes in how we are able to claim that this year?
Changes not on those two fronts, but is very specific. So with medical expenses, you're able to claim as tax deductions anything in excess of 5% of your adjusted gross income. So if your adjusted gross income, say it's $10,000, anything above $500 that you've paid out of pocket, you could claim as being tax deductible. And there's multiple categories for medical expenses. In terms of
Okay.
being affected by some type of natural disaster, President Trump never declared COVID a national disaster, so you couldn't claim that. But if you're affected by anything that he did declare as a national disaster, normally tornadoes, hurricanes, things of that nature, those things are tax deductible to the extent that you can demonstrate that there was causality. In other words, you lost something, whether
All
that be
right.
like your
Well,
car watering out or something like that.
I'll have to save the rest of them until next week. So, look, I want to tell everybody thank you so much. Thank you, Brian. You have given us a wealth of information. And we want to thank all of our listeners for listening to the word that works. We want to turn you over to Brittany right now and just tell you that we are praying for you and happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everybody.
On the behalf of MDM Ministries and Dr. Marshall, we would like to thank you for tuning into the Word That Works. Well, we believe when you work the Word of God, it will work for you. Please don't forget to catch us back here on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and on Sundays at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, Amazon Prime, Roku TV, YouTube, and mdmministries.org. If you are interested in becoming a ministry partner and helping us spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, please send your donations into $MDLTV via Cash App, or you can send it to Zelle at 832-933-3054, or you can do it on mdlministries.org. Well, again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope that you enjoyed the show and have a great night.